All right, so very quick review about categorical data in two-way tables. I had the goal originally of taking our questionnaire from the beginning of the week and breaking it into two-way tables for us. But when I went to go do that today, oh, this is the wrong form. When I went to do it today, when I was breaking down the data, there really wasn't enough data. We have really small classes this year. I only had 24 people to respond. It's just not that exciting. Okay? So the thing about categorical data is, in a two-way table, is that we can do what's called, and so this is a hard word to pronounce, and it also sounds like a couple other words, disaggregate. Okay? So disaggregate is to separate into like layers, and then like pull different, like it's that whole idea of I could look at it in reference to juniors versus seniors. I could look at it in reference to who's been on a plane, who hasn't been on a plane, right? Does that make sense? You're taking it apart into smaller chunks, but you can only do two variables at a time. So when I was referencing yesterday how our stop and frisk data, or the importance of that data, is connected to things here at school, we get all sorts of data about how students are doing, but it includes referral data, it includes gender, it includes or birth sex, it includes things like, are you a person with learning disabilities, are you a person that by race, et cetera, and so on. So that's what it means to disaggregate your data. You're taking it apart and looking at how things intermix together. Okay, so this is a very simple way of looking at it. It's only two variables, which sometimes is all we can handle. So this is a fake survey given to 12th graders at West High School to determine the location of their senior trip. So possible locations. Woohoo! We might go to Niagara Falls. We might go to Darien Lake, or we might get to go to New York City. Woohoo! Bless you. Then they separated that data by boys and girls. Okay? There's 4 questions down here. A, B, C, and D. See if you can answer them. On your mark. Get set. Go. So this is something that you should already have knowledge base to do. In your note packet, it's okay. Page 38. We're just going to play with two-way tables for a few minutes today, and then we're done. Okay? So can you answer that data? Is it all right there? Do you need to do some manipulation on your own? I'm not going to be mad. It's going to be calm. I really feel like if it's this evidence, it's good. These guys is something. I don't see that. And sets those, I'm not going to go with that. So you trust me. So not all the answers are right there, right? You had to pick up your calculator, or at least do some simple arithmetic. And of course, arithmetic that's vertical is easier than arithmetic that's, horizontal. All right. All right. So how many boys chose Darien Lake? 74. Woo! This is hard because that's a right there question, right? It means you're kind of, playing Battleship. I'm looking at this column and this row and picking that number. But as they go to move farther through, how many students chose Niagara Falls? 127. That was a total on the margin. So it's a marginal total, or a marginal frequency. When we go to look at how many girls were surveyed, we got 251. That's another marginal frequency. So these ones that are inside are called joint frequencies. The ones on the outside, those totals, are called marginal frequencies. And then our grand total is 484 students. And I call that the total, and it usually lands right here for me. All right. Now, what we saw in the video yesterday was the fact that we could look at different things just by looking at a column or just by looking at a row, and it gave it different meaning. So that's where we need to really just be careful readers. All right, we're going to skip this part. When you turn the page, we're just going to do one definition on the next page. All right. So this data table that's on the next page, I kind of just mentioned here how we might have joint frequencies. Those are the ones on the insides. Our margins are here on the outside. And then the things is those are numbers. And while we certainly can compare this number is less than that number, comparing with percentages is easier, right? So that's why in our video and today we're going to spend a little bit of time focusing on what's relative, right? And we did relative frequencies when we did our cumulative frequency histograms or, doing that. So remember, relative can be a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. And when we do relative frequencies, relative frequencies are going to always add up to 1 or 100%. And so just a reminder of vocabulary. If it says relative, it's not a quantity, it's a percent or a part in relation to the whole. All right, you can go ahead and turn the page and actually go all the way to page 41. We're going to do 3 examples together. You'll have 5 to do on your own, and that's the end of the unit. It's that easy. Good morning. All right, so on page 41, and let my system hopefully catch up with me. On page 41, we have a table at the top about different college students, whether they're undergraduates or graduates, and what their interest or field of study is. Can you guys finish that table while I get my Cami doc to cooperate? Top of page 41, there's an empty table that's pretty easy to fill. No hardcore addition or subtraction on this one. There it is. All right, this is not a big deal, and this is, you're going to have like a single 2A table to analyze for your quiz. But basically, this is the hard part about 2A tables is literally reading the question and deciding what information to look at and what information to ignore. And typically it means I have to decide, do I need to work with a row of data or a column of data, or do I need to work with the whole table? It's being cranky on me. The whole table. Okay. So let's look at this first one. This one says, what % of graduate students are interested in the medical field? So I know a lot of you would probably be able to do this part pretty easily. Hey, medical students, right? Graduate, right? You'd be able to do that. But now you have a row and a column. Agreed? So now you have to figure out which way am I using as my whole? What am I relative to? So we read it again. What percent of graduate students? So yeah, so do I care about undergrads? No. So I do not care about the undergrads whatsoever. So when I delete the undergrads, it also means I have taken away this 133. Agreed? So it is simply just, it's going to be the row. It's going to be 83 out of, how many graduate students do we have? Yeah, 192. And you're always going to change that into a percent by dividing. Don't forget to put a decimal in there, yada, 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 right? Okay. Believe it turns out to be 43%. Okay, great. So now I'm just going to quickly do some erasing. There we go. Cool. All right, so the next one. What percent of the students surveyed are interested in business? Okay, so I know I need the business area. And right now I'm going to do all, so what percent of the students? So what number am I using in my denominator? So what percent of the, okay, so wait, pause. What percent of the students are interested in business? Is that just undergraduates, just graduates, or is it all students? All students, both. So we need to think about the 300, right? Which means we're doing 56 out of 300. Okay, so in that situation, it's the whole table, and it's the idea of it's on the outside. It's a margin. So 56 out of 300, and I want to say that one is 19%. Round it up. Okay, so one last one to look at. This says, what percent of the students interested in education are undergraduates? So I'm speaking in a way, or I'm reading it in a way such that I'm trying to emphasize the importance of different parts. What percent of the students interested in education are undergraduates? So we go back up. I have to take an eraser to the stuff that I have on here. Let's see. So we don't care about anybody that's in medical or business or anywhere else. We only care about the education students, right? What percent of those are undergraduates? Well, that's going to be 18 out of 57. So does everybody understand the reading piece? We have to read carefully to get the right stuff. Yeah, because and then remember that some tables, like we did in the Niagara Falls one, might not have totals on them. So you might need to find totals to get your denominator. Okay. So basically, if you turn the page, there are 5 questions there. That is the remainder of your work, okay? You'll want to make sure you have the right answers, get those answers checked. If you want a review packet prior to leaving for the weekend, just let me know and I will print one up for you. I haven't had a chance to get down to the copy room to make all of our copies.